Hi everyone. Today, let me tell you a story about Chowder, a young pig, abandoned by his original owner, adopted by a kind-hearted woman in Southern California, and living alongside 5 playful dogs. Do you wonder how this unlikely family came to be, and how a pig could find his place among a pack of dogs? Stay tuned for today's video on Animals Need Love and find out more. In the sunny hills of Southern California, there's a farm that's not quite like any other. It's a home to not only the usual mix of animals, a few donkeys, chickens, and horses, but also to 2 pigs, 5 dogs, and 1 extraordinary family led by Shelby Madere. She always had a deep connection with animals, and raising them has been a lifelong dream. But what makes her story even more special is how one of her animals, Chowder the Pig, turned out to be one of the most beloved members of her family. Chowder's story begins a few years ago, when she was still just a little piglet. Shelby's heart went out to her when she heard that a man who had bought Chowder from a breeder had realized he was deceived. He thought he was getting a tiny mini pig, but instead Chowder grew into a large, strong pig, and the man could no longer care for her. Shelby decided to step in and give Chowder the home she needed. When Chowder first arrived at Shelby's farm, he was still just a young pig, and it was clear that he didn't trust her yet. He'd been abandoned by his previous owner who couldn't care for him anymore, and now he was in a new place with unfamiliar animals. Shelby knew it would take time to build trust with him, so she patiently gave him space and let him get used to his new surroundings. For the first few weeks, Shelby's approach was gentle and calm. She spent hours just being present with Chowder, sitting quietly near him as he explored his new space. He didn't pay much attention to her at first, focused on the unfamiliar sights and smells of the farm. But Shelby didn't rush. She knew that the process of building trust wasn't something that could be forced, and she was more than willing to be patient. Every day she would quietly observe Chowder, respecting his space while showing kindness through her presence. The first few days were quiet as Shelby gave Chowder the space she needed to adjust to her new environment. Instead of forcing any interaction, Shelby simply sat nearby, speaking softly to the pig, allowing her to become accustomed to her voice. From past experiences, Shelby knew that animals could sense kindness and patience, and she hoped that in time, Chowder would start to feel comfortable around her. One of the first signs of progress came when Shelby offered Chowder some food. She placed a small bowl of treats just beyond the pig's reach, then sat back and waited. Hungry and curious, Chowder inched closer, her suspicion evident as she sniffed the food from a safe distance. After a moment, her hunger overcame her caution, and she took the first tentative bite. Shelby couldn't help but smile softly, knowing that this simple act was the beginning of building a bond. As the days passed, Shelby continued her gentle approach, always giving Chowder the time she needed. She learned the rhythms of the pig's behavior, how Chowder responded to certain sounds, movements, and gestures. Shelby made sure to move slowly, never startling her, and sometimes she would sit quietly in the grass, observing Chowder from a distance as the pig slowly became more at ease with her presence. Months of patient effort eventually led to a breakthrough. One day, when Chowder was about a year old, she surprised Shelby by coming to her, seemingly out of nowhere. Without any hesitation, Chowder lay down on Shelby's lap. In that moment, a wave of gratitude washed over Shelby. It was the first time Chowder had ever laid on her, and it wasn't just a casual gesture. It was a sign that Chowder had begun to trust her. All the love, patience, and care Shelby had shown had finally paid off, and in that moment, Shelby realized something profound. Chowder truly loved her. I worked so hard to earn his trust every day of every hour for those 7 months, Shelby wrote in a social media post, capturing that unforgettable moment. even though he didn't pay much attention to me, I realized in this moment that he loved me, that all of the love and patience I showed him, he always felt and knew and saw. This day meant everything to me. That moment wasn't just a physical gesture from Chowder. It was a revelation for Shelby, too. Shelby's heart swelled with gratitude. The pig she had taken in, who had once been unsure and hesitant, had finally opened up to her. This wasn't just about petting a pig or getting him to behave. It was about an emotional connection, a bond formed through perseverance, compassion, and a deep trust. Now, Chowder's story might sound pretty typical for a farm animal, but there's something extraordinary about her. Pigs are intelligent and social animals, and Chowder, well, she's taken those traits to the next level. Raised by dogs, she grew up thinking she was one of them, and honestly, who could blame her? The dogs treated her just like a sibling, always playing in the backyard, running around, and hanging out. They even let her wear a collar just like theirs, and Chowder embraced her role with gusto. As Chowder got older, she didn't just adapt to her doggy life, she became a dog. In fact, she started to think she was the leader of the pack. Shelby noticed how Chowder would often supervise playtime, making sure everyone was included, and when it was time to eat, she would double check that everyone had enough before she dug in. Not bad for a pig, right? Shelby would catch moments like this, Chowder wagging her tail excitedly as she joined the dogs in whatever mischief they were getting into. The dogs and Chowder were inseparable. They'd cuddle together, play with toys, and share their meals. It wasn't long before Chowder's playful dog-like behavior started to attract attention outside the farm. Shelby created an Instagram page to share their unique family moments, and before long, Chowder became an online sensation. People loved seeing this adorable pig running alongside her dog siblings, acting like one of them, and having the time of her life. Chowder's days were full of love. Whether it was soaking in cool water or playing with her favorite bottle, she enjoyed every little thing just like a dog would. "What a good piggy," Shelby would say, laughing as Chowder splashed happily in the kiddie pool. Sometimes, though, Chowder needed a break from all the action, and the dogs would let her have it. They respected her need for space and patiently waited for her to rejoin the group when she was ready. The bond between Chowder and the dogs was something truly special. Whenever Shelby called out to her, Chowder would come running, tail wagging, her excitement impossible to contain. "Come on, baby," Shelby would say, and Chowder would trot happily, always ready to join the pack for another adventure. You could see the happiness in Chowder's eyes. She truly believed she was a dog, and that was just perfect. In the years that followed, Chowder only grew more beloved. Now 11 years old, she remains just as sweet and playful as ever, and her bond with Shelby and the dogs remains unshakable. They were a family, even if their members didn't look alike. There's something beautiful about that, don't you think? Chowder, the pig who believed she was a dog, had found a place where love and acceptance knew no boundaries. Chowder's smile was a constant reminder of that love. Whether she was playing in the yard or curled up with her dog siblings, her joy was contagious. Shelby often said, "My beautiful baby," and it was clear to anyone who saw them that Chowder was, without a doubt, a cherished member of the family. And that's how it goes on the farm with Shelby and her unusual family. A pig who thinks she's a dog, a group of dogs who love her like one of their own, and a human mom who couldn't imagine her life without them. It's a reminder that love doesn't always come in the form you expect, and sometimes the most unlikely friendships are the best ones of all. As we wrap up this heartwarming story of Chowder and the extraordinary family Shelby has created, I hope it's left you feeling inspired and reminded of the power of love and patience. Chowder's journey from an abandoned pig to a beloved member of the pack is a beautiful example of how trust can be built, no matter the differences. What's the most surprising bond you've witnessed between animals? Have you ever had an unexpected connection with an animal? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We can't wait to hear your stories. Thank you so much for sticking with us all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to turn on the bell and subscribe to our channel Animals Need Love so you never miss any of our new videos. Thank you for your support. Wishing you all peace, happiness, and a little bit of extra love today. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.